Good morning, what is up, what is going on? Dave at SVA Baseball Card Collectors, and it is starting to get a little nice out. Yes, it is indeedy. It'll finally be in the 70s, 60s, 70s, which is nice. Yeah, alright, that's about it, guys. No. Finally paid for my auction. I actually forgot to pay for the auction for my Roberto Clemente 1961 PSA 8. So that should be coming shortly, as well as my 75 Topps Carl Yastrzemski. That was nice. I looked at a couple of auctions, and there was a couple of cards I really liked. I believe a 74 or a 75 Nolan Ryan. But to be honest with you, it was a PSA 9. So it was a high amount of dollars. You know, it was over $200-300. And I saw that PWCC was selling it. And you know what? I didn't get it. I stopped looking at it. And really, it's disconcerting because... Oh, what a jerk. The guy wouldn't let me in. Oh, I didn't see this guy. So, sorry guys, I was driving. This will be a long one because I'm driving to my job site. And my job site is in the Bronx and I'm in Long Island. And if you guys don't know how far that is, it is far. Over an hour. And now I could almost get into an accident getting out of the driveway, the gas station. Oh, here we go. Fun times, people. So, PWCC. It was a card. It looked nice, but I'm reading throughout blowout forums all these different times where they have cards that have been trimmed, that have been altered, or as they say, restored. And to be honest with you, it got to me. I think it is a small percentage, but it's my little protest against them. I bought cards from them. I bought plenty of cards from them. And I don't think they've been altered, but I don't know. And I'm not savvy enough to look at these cards and go, hey, wait a second. How am I going to go back and try to figure out, if these cards were messed around? I don't know who they have in these forums. It looks like they got people from the FBI, CIA. They should put these guys trying to figure out, the Russia hacking stuff. But I don't know. I don't know how they do it, and it's just crazy. So it has gotten to me, and if it's gotten to me, I'm sure it's gotten to other people. Now there was a ton of bids for the card. So because it was a good card, it was I think it was a 75, I believe, PSA 9. I've been more and more getting into Nolan Ryans. There was a guy who had a YouTube channel. I actually shared it on my Facebook group because there were 1991 Topps cards that were going for $1,000, and they were Nolan Ryans because they were PSA 10s, and they were very rare because there's not too many out there, and there was only 4 of them, and they hardly ever come out on eBay, and yada yada yada. So that intrigued me, and I started looking at more and more cards. I was really surprised to find out the 1986 Topps Nolan Ryan goes for like $400. Now I know that's because it has the black border, so it's going to be more difficult to get in a PSA 10. I didn't check the pop report on PSA, but $400. I'm going to guess that it's going to be less than 100. I might be wrong, but that's my guess. Or let me put it to you this way: it's going to be 5% or less of the total population of what has been submitted. That I'm going to venture that guess. But But would I buy a box of 86 Topps to open up and to try to get a Nolan Ryan PSA 10? I think my days of doing that are over. I mean, I might do it for fun, but I was, I would say I would do it for fun, but I also was like, you know what? This isn't a bad investment because you're only spending $25 at a chance for a $400 car. You're going to be chasing it. You're going to be chasing it all day long, just like I was chasing the stupid '89 Donruss. And you don't know if they've been searched. They may have been searched so long ago, and the guys who have it now, they don't know. They just got the box of cards. It's not like they searched it. But in either case, I just think it's better to just buy the card that you want instead of trying to chase it. If you're doing it for fun, like if we do it in a group, say, hey, let's buy a box of 86 Topps and see what happens, and you split it amongst a couple of people, and then if it happens, and that's fine. But otherwise, I don't know. There's a reason why only 5 or less than 10% of all cards in PSA are being graded that way. Only getting a 10. Because they're tough. It's tough. There's a lot of issues with printing back in the day. Things being off-centered. That's mostly what it is. It's things being off-centered and skewed, and you got to make sure the front and the back is all level and good. It's tough. So I am just going to get what I want. So I keep talking about this article, and I'm just going to spit it out. And then when the article comes out, if it ever does, it'll spit it out. But long story short, I did all the 85 cards. Topps, Tiffany, Donruss, and Fleer. I mentioned this before. The crazy thing, what I did was I did the population, the total population I have, the number of PSA 10s, so the percentage of that. I was trying to see if there was any correlation with the percentage of the population, of PSA 10s. If it's high or low, that dictates the price. And it somewhat did. But that wasn't the driving factor. I then did a 5 and 10 year return to see which would be the best cards. And to be honest with you, if you held on to all the cards, now I also included Don Mattingly and Nolan Ryan. So you have Mark McGwire, his only card was 85 Topps and 85 Topps Tiffany. I threw those in there as well. The Donruss, no, I'm sorry. I'm saying guys, and then I go off and tell you the brands. You have Roger Clemens, Kirby Puckett, Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire's only in the Topps. The other two guys are in all three. I also added Don Mattingly and Nolan Ryan because it seemed like they were the top guys outside of those, and sometimes they would go for just as much or maybe even more money. Now, I believe the only outlier in this was the 85 Fleer, and I didn't find too many solds, but out of the total population, I believe they were 28%. Were PSA 10 for Don Mattingly, which is really high compared to the rest of them. The rest of them, 6 to 8% was the high end. Everything else was lower than that. And with the 85 Topps, both the Mark McGwire was less than 1% of all total population was a PSA 10. Roger Clemens was right there. It was like 1 point something. He was right there with the 85 Topps. So it was really difficult to get a PSA 10 in those two. But the 85 Fleer Donruss PSA 10 Don Mattingly, for whatever reason, the percentage in a 10-year period skyrocketed. It was in second place, basically. And it was like at 70 or 80%. But you had most of the cards, most of the Topps and the Topps Tiffany were 60, 70, 80%. Now, to guess which card is going to bounce, I think is a difficult venture. The Topps Tiffany doubled in power. For the Mark McGwire, doubled in price. It's now, I think it's like 5,000-6,000 or 4,000, and it was like 1,000 and went to 2,000, and then it went to like 4,000. But I think it's like 4,500 or something like that. Roger Clemens right behind that, and it was just a little bit less. So like, let's just say a Mark McGwire is 42 to 4,500. Roger Clemens is 3,800 to 4,000, like, or 3,500 to 38. It's like right around. They're close to each other, within $500. I believe, looking at the numbers, I would say that the 85 Topps Mark McGwire has more room for growth because of how low the population is and how rare that card is to get in a PSA 10. And it hasn't doubled in price. It went up in price. They all went up in price, but it didn't have an astronomical, high number. But what I gathered looking at all the data was, if 10 years ago you spent $2,000-$3,000 and mixed it up with all those cards, you would, I didn't do the numbers, but you wouldn't lose any money for sure. The problem was you had the lowest one was 23%. That was the lowest. Oh, one was 0. One, there was no change. I forget which one had no change to it. The rest, 23% and up. And most of the cards were over 50-60%. So I would say it would be at least 50 to 60% return of your investment had you bought these cards 10 years ago. Now, let's just say you bought stocks 10 years ago. I don't know if you're going to get that same return. And what it said to me was, you might not be able to guess, but if you can spot the top cards in a PSA 10, buy a portfolio of them. Almost, like a mutual fund. Because you will then hedge your bets. So if you had $10,000 and you divided everything up, hey, I just want to get 3 cards of each, or whatever that came out to, you would be doing real well. And that's what I came up with. That's what the analysis showed. That you need to, I think it's hard to guess the cards. So spread out your risk. It's okay if you have a good feeling about a guy and you really think he's undervalued and you get 5 or 6 cards. I'm not saying not to do that either, because people do that with stocks. They go, all right, I think this company is really, you have to think about it like companies. I think this company is really, good. And go after it, and get those cards. A lot of guys may buy 5 or 10 cards of a guy. And then if it doubles in value, sells 5 of them, you get your money back, and everything else is gravy. There's people that do that. I believe that you should spread your risk. Spread it out. And that's what the numbers showed to me. Because for me to figure out if it was the 85 Topps Tiffany Mark McGwire or the regular Topps or the Roger Clemens, I couldn't figure it out. The numbers there was nothing jumping out that indicated this is the card to buy outside of the 85 Topps, because I feel it's a little bit undervalued for the scarcity. And I believe if he was to ever get into the Hall of Fame, those cards would skyrocket because everybody would start wanting them and there's not much supply. Same thing with Roger Clemens. I think Roger Clemens has a little bit more popularity than Mark McGwire. I don't know why. It seems like people really hated Roger Clemens. And now it seems like people like him more, and I think he's going to be the guy that gets in over Mark McGwire. but I think both of their cards would skyrocket because they get into the Hall of Fame. Same thing with Barry Bonds. Their cards are going to start moving up. And when they dry up, because no one can find an 85 Topps PSA 10, those cards are going to skyrocket. You may even go, the PSA 9s may start jumping up, but there's a lot of PSA 9s and PSA 8s. A ton. 30%. I think it was over 30% each one of the total population. So, diversification is what I'm preaching, brother. I'm going to start talking like Hulk Hogan. Brother, I'm preaching diversification. I never got into what. When I was a kid, I watched WWF. When I got older, not so much. And yes, I call it WWF still. I didn't know it as WWE. It's WWF. I remember getting excited. I believe I was driving Connecticut, something like that, and I saw the WWF sign. I think it was World Wildlife Foundation. The guy's like, no, stupid. It's wildlife. It's not the wrestling. They're not wrestling in that building. It was just like an office building. I was like, Hulk Hogan's in there. Yeah, I wasn't the brightest kid. I really wasn't. I have a little sip here. Pumped about my Yankees. Yankees won twice in the doubleheader. Low-scoring affairs. Guys, Herman, he's 8-1 with a 2-something ERA. I'm sure his cards were. I saw his auto was like $20, $30, right around there. I didn't see too many of them though. So maybe you should check that out. Maybe check out Comp. I haven't looked yet. Maybe I look over there. I think I might have, and I didn't see too many things. But I'm really excited. I really like Comp. I didn't think I would. But the deals are out there. I can definitely tell if you spend time, if you spent an hour scouring Comp, you will find deals. I'm going to repeat that. No, I'm not. Go on Facebook groups. Look to see what cards are popular. Look what players are popular. It's pretty obvious. You really know the suspects. And go and get them. Take a look at Comp. Compare the prices to eBay. And then go ahead and buy them. I don't think there's home runs. Like, I think I lucked out with the cards that I got, because I bought them for $5 and sold it for one for $24 and the other one for like $20. That I don't see that happening all the time. My stupidity was I didn't buy more. I wish I bought all of them. And there's a way to buy all of them, and you can sort of control the market that way. And I do like that aspect of it, but I also don't like. I only threw in $100, so I wanted to see what I could do with it, and I really didn't play around with it too much. But literally, the two things that I looked up was cheap. I've looked at a couple more, but not much. So let's just say I looked up maybe 10 guys. 2 of them I've hit. I believe the second guy I hit. I'm not too sure. I'm not giving it up because I know you bastards are going to go and buy them up on me. But I would just look at who's doing well in the minors and take a look at their chrome and their refractor cards. You know, it doesn't even have to be their autos, because base cards are starting to move up as well. And see if you can flip. If you can flip a card for $1 or $2, why not? I'm not doing anything. It's not. It's not like they're shipping you the card and you have to ship it back out. It's very similar to what banks do. They're just transferring money from one person to another. This is very, very similar to the financial world. And I believe that if you're really good at baseball cards and flipping and things like that, you probably would do pretty well in stocks in the banking industry. It's just different knowledge. I mean, it's more intricate, but yes and no. yes, you have economists and they need to learn, all the math formulas and how you reach certain things and value of ways to measure value. But it seems like a lot of times with the stock market, it's just also based on the whim of people. It's just, all right, we like this stock, it's going to go up. I don't know if I ever said this story, but I bought a stock. It was like a $3 or $4 stock. And I forget the name of it. I think it's OTC or OITC. And what it was boating cleaning products. And I bought it, Warren Buffett sold it, and I was looking at the numbers, and it was, it had a profitable quarter, and I said, you know what, I want to buy it. So I bought let's just say $200-300 of them. Because they were cheap, it was like $2-3. I think I bought it like $2, $3. Guess what happened? That thing tanked. It went under $1. I think I bought it like at $3 or $3.50. I think I bought more, and it was like an average to $3. So I do that. Of course, it tanks. Every single quarter, record profit quarter. Every quarter. For about 2 years, I think I had the stock. And I may be misremembering certain things, but the gist of it is this thing was going up and made profit and made money every single year, every single quarter. Some record breaking for them. Stock would go down. Stock would go down. And it was a product, it was a stock that not many people traded, which is one thing I didn't think of. So for it to go up and down, it took a bit because not everyone was looking to buy and sell this company. Because it was this boat cleaning company. I forget about it. I go check at it one day, it's $5.50, $5.45, something like that. I go, holy shnikes, I sell all mine right away. And I think it was higher. A couple of days prior, it was even higher. It was like almost $6, $6.50. And I go to check and see. And this was during the time in Africa when the Ebola virus, there was a big scare. A lot of people were dying in Africa because of the Ebola virus. And it was spreading out. And, it was like a little scary. It was a little bit like the movies. It was going from town to town and decimating this town. Everybody was getting sick and dying. So they had found out that one of the cleaning products that this company had killed the Ebola virus. If it was on a surface, you sprayed this thing, it would kill it. Stock went crazy up. It had nothing to do with the profits. They could have been losing money left and right. It was just the news that their product, I think, could kill. I don't think it was like 100% that it did kill. That it could. And ever since then, I always think the market is stupid. It doesn't matter how much you make. It's basically based upon the whims of people, if they want to place value on a company or not, even if it's losing tons of money. Very similar to when the stock market with the back in the day with all these websites, and they weren't making any money. They were losing millions of dollars, yet their stocks were so high. Eventually it did come down and crash and burn, but there was a time when a lot of people make a lot of money, and a lot of people lost a lot of money, so it's knowing when to get out. But it's just, I guess maybe the truth always comes out at the end of the day. So I guess the baseline stats are, if a guy hits 30 home runs every year and his card value is undervalued, no matter what, at the end of the day his card will always come back. But I don't know if that's always the case. I might be yammering around a little bit, but no idea where I was going with this. That's what happens when you're driving and talking about stocks that you know nothing about. But, long story short, comp is good. Spend an hour. See, nice segue. Spend an hour. If you spend an hour, I guarantee you're going to find some deals on there. You can do it if you're sitting around watching TV, not doing anything. You sit down on the couch, just start looking at it. Go on Comp and just look. Look at different, look at Facebook groups, look at guys and cards, and then go there and just start searching them. And if you can buy and they're real cheap, buy all of them if you can. You have to put in money. You have to put in credits to be able to buy. So that's the only thing. So you have your money tied up, all in that. And if you pull it out, they have a service fee, which is nonsense. I didn't know about that either, so I wasn't happy about that. I'm sure it said it right in the beginning, and I just didn't realize it. But there's that. PayPal. Okay. Guy was asking a question about PayPal, and pretty much he had it answered. But eBay, back in my day when it first started, you had to send a money order. The money order, you would go to the post office, do a money order, send it to someone. It would clear, they would get it, then they would ship you the card. That's the way it used to be way, way back in the day. So PayPal is a lot easier, a lot simpler. So if you're coming back to buying cards again, and you're not too familiar, most people know about eBay, but there's two avenues to go with. You have friends and family and goods and services. Friends and family is to exchange money, and there's no fee. So if a seller says, if you see on a post in Facebook, hey, I only accept PayPal FF, that's not F face, like Billy Ripken's on the back. It's friends and family. Now, friends and family, there's no fee for the seller. And the great thing is, there's no protection for you. So, he saves on his fee, and if he doesn't want to send it to you, he doesn't have to send you the card, and you get screwed out of it. Now, most people don't do that. They do send the card, but it has happened before where people do friends and family. Guys do a big fire sale, he gets a bunch of money, and then disappears. And people complain, they send stuff to their wife on Facebook, but there's really nothing you can do. You send to friends and family, and PayPal does not protect you. Goods and service is where you want to be at in the beginning. If you're starting out a relationship with someone and you're buying and selling cards, and this is your first deal, you do goods and services. There, they have to pay a fee. It's about 3%, and you have protection. So if they don't send you the cards, you can ask for your money back, and they'll do it. That's where you need to be. Now, buying cards on Facebook like in groups. How do you deal with people? Just like anything else. What you can do is, if you are buying it from someone, you can put their name in the search in the group and see if their name pops up for anything dirty, scammy. They screw someone, they're talking nonsense, they seem a little weird. Not they say weird, but if they do sketchy things or have like different comments like, yeah, screw that guy, don't give him money, that was stupid, why he paid you friends and family, I would just screw. Something obvious, just to be aware of. But for the most part, you're not going to find anything. They do have, some groups have scammer pages, and they have on there people who have scammed in their groups. So I would take a look there. There's also a scammers group that guys created, and from there you can tell you can do your stories. There's a bunch of stories of people, how they scammed, and they get verified, and you go there and they have those names. I don't know the group, to be honest with you, but I'm sure if you put scammers group baseball cards on Facebook, it'll probably pop up. But beyond that, there's really nothing you can do. If you do goods and services, you'll be protected. What I also suggest, and again guys, a lot of times I don't practice what I preach, and here's going to be one, but this is a good idea. You should have a database of people and what they collect, and people who are buying cards. So it's very simple. You can follow, Facebook groups, the conversations, the comments, and you go, oh, I noticed this guy likes Braves cards. I noticed this guy likes Yankee cards. And if you have cards, commons, team sets, autographs, whatever, you go and you send it to your Braves list. You send it to your Yankees list, Mike Trout list, which is everyone who collects Mike Trout. But you get what I'm saying? You want to create a database of people that you can go to. That is mucho importante if you are trying to really move your cards. I don't do this enough, and I keep on saying I don't do this enough. Forums. Especially with vintage cards, you should be on forums, talking, discussing, posting your cards, making comments, answering questions. You want to be engaged. A lot of stuff that I'm saying is Gary Vee-like, but it's also just common sense. If people see you engaging and you're talking to people constantly, people will become comfortable with you. People will then say, hey man, I got a deal for you, or I want to get rid of these cards. Would you like them? You want to build a relationship, and your reputation is extremely important online, and you do not want to have a bad relationship. You do not want to mess that up. It's really important, I think. That's at least what I preach. I think it's really important, that I'm genuine, and the way I am now is the way I am on the Facebook group. If I'm talking like this, and then you get to the Facebook group and I go, buy my online course on how to collect baseball cards for $10.99, and all I am is trying to sell you something, I may have done a good part of getting you in, but to continue that relationship, I'm failing. And so that's what you are trying to create. You're trying to create relationships where you can get deals, and it's mutually beneficial for the seller as well. Also trades. You have PSA card forums. Has forums. Blowout Cards has forums. If you're looking to collect vintage, and there's people that put their sets on the PSA registry, which is what I did for my 55 Topps. I really haven't bought any more cards for it, but most of my cards I put in the PSA card registry, and it's a good way to track it. I don't know, I like it better than Excel. I just like, you put the numbers in, they fill everything in. You have the number from PSA card, it fills all the information in, then you just put, hey, I bought it eBay, I bought it at auction, I bought it from some guy on the corner, and how much you paid for it, and it's there for life. They have it. Wow, these roads suck. So they're there for life. And you can also, when you go to a registry, just say you wanted to start collecting 1952 Topps cards, and there's a bunch of people collecting the sets, and on there they have contact, and there's an email address. You can hit them up. Hey, I'm buying or I'm selling 52 cards. You guys have any doubles? You have stuff that you want to get rid of? I'm looking in this PSA, XYZ. And you'll know what cards they have because they put it in the registry. So you'll know they have a bunch of PSA 6s or 7s or 8s or whatever. And if you're going for those same ones, then you hit them up. That's how you build a reputation. That's how you build, rapport with them. And make sure you're writing a note. Hey, when you send cards, thank you very much. Contact me, give me your email, give me a phone number. If you want to have a phone number, best thing to do is get Google Voice and set that up, because then it will be a different number. And that different number you can use as your, baseball card business or baseball card flipping number. So you'll know if it's coming from that phone, it has something to do with baseball cards. which I like. I like keeping things separate. So, it's not interfering with your personal life. You got your Google Voice. And so you can have somewhat of like, if you want to treat it more like a business, you can go, all right, my business number is, XYZ. And you can use that number also for Facebook Marketplace, for OfferUp. If people say, hey, hit me up on text, so you don't have to give your personal phone number. And you can also just, with that Google Voice, you can just have it automatically go to voicemail or text, or just text from that, and it'll never ring. And all you have to do is just check the app, make sure, hey, did someone hit me up today? Did someone, you check it a couple of times a day, and that's that. So simple tip, nice little tip. That's a pro tip for you. You can also, what you can do is you can go on Craigslist and say, hey, I'm buying baseball cards in bulk. A lot of people do that. You might get mostly nonsense. You might get mostly junk era cards, but maybe you get a diamond in the rough. Maybe you get, hey, I got a bunch of old vintage cards here in my attic. I want to get rid of them. I don't have time to go through it. I'll just sell it through you. Has happened. Plenty of people. It's a tactic that people use in reselling. There'll be certain things that they want, certain electronics that they want, and they say, hey, I'm buying all Apple iPods. I'm buying this. I'm buying that. People will hit them up. Hey, all right. It does work. It doesn't work as well as it used to because there's a lot of people doing it, but it does work. And what does it hurt? It's just putting a post out there. So, yeah, who cares? Just do that. Just do it. All right, I'm starting to wind down here. I watched Dead to Me on Netflix. If you guys are looking for a show, that is an excellent show with Christina Applegate. Still looking good. Excellent show. Not as good as Game of Thrones. Last episode, I don't know. Hopefully they have a good ending. But then I'm going to be screwed out of a show. I don't have anything else to watch, which I'm not happy about. I do watch The Walking Dead, but it just seems like it's doing the same thing over and over again. Humans against humans. I'm sort of tired of it with that aspect. But, yep. Also, another one, if you guys are looking, and this is a classic, if you guys haven't seen this, you guys should be kicked. Breaking Bad. If you haven't, stop what you're doing. Literally, just leave your job. Go and watch Breaking Bad. One of the best shows ever. The fact that guy was Malcolm in the Middle, the father, his acting is insane. Insane. And just awesome show. Hopefully I get my cards, my nice vintage cards, probably in a couple of days. I need to start selling again. I go in ebbs and flows. I go, and I start listening to massive amount of stuff, and stuff starts going. So I need to start doing that. I gotta post those 84. I still haven't done it yet. I still haven't taken pictures and posted it. It's so simple to do. Gotta do that. So hopefully I get more cards. I tell you, you post cards on eBay, they sell. You post regularly, they sell. I know it, and I still don't do it, but it happens all the time. It's crazy. You post stuff, and stuff flies. You price it right, it will go. It will. And it's just doing it. It's just sometimes my laziness pisses me off. I am gonna go. SVA Baseball Card Collectors Facebook group. Please join. Got a decent amount of people there. People are asking questions. I really like where the group is going. I really enjoy it. I really like going back and forth with people asking questions. A place where you can not feel that you're going to be made fun of or ostracized if you ask a certain question, because really there's no stupid questions. I sound like a self-help guy. There's no stupid questions. But it's the truth, because you just want an answer sometimes. You don't want all the jerk responses. So definitely a place to go. SVA Baseball Card Collectors on YouTube. I did a video. Check it out. And SVA BB Collectors on Instagram. Haven't been posting as much on there as I should, but it's just pictures. So if you want to see pictures of baseball cards, I'll do it, I guess. But I need to be a little bit more active on there as well. That is also a great spot to buy cards and sell cards. If you keep doing it and you keep getting at it and you grow a following, same thing, just like anything else. You build it, they will come. And if you have 2,000-3,000 followers and now you're trying to sell a card and you just get 10% of that, that's a decent amount of people trying to go after your card. So definitely should be working on that more for building a base for people to buy my crap. Oh, look at this guy. He's just going to come right in front of him. Let's get in. All right, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow. You know what to do. Buy cards and go broke. Later.